Oh my God, I was having so much fun. I have mixed emotions about our last session because watching Xanath and Puck have that really cool back and forth about what Puck had to experience, finally getting rid of that shadowed creature that no one knew anything about until it triggered in that event, that crossover with the wizard Caleb. I went all the way back to the beginning of your guys' story and started reading some of the earlier sessions. And I'm like, it's so much fun actually seeing the growth, like actually watching the characters kind of grow and expand to the point where in the earlier sessions, you guys really weren't that committed to each other yet. You know, like there was still a lot of like unknowns about the purpose of the relationship that brought you guys together and the seeking out of the information that the last survivor of the Wanderman Assembly was telling you on, now that we know more of the truth. And after recounting the notes of the last like 4 or 5 sessions, I'm like, these are totally different people now. These are not the same people from the beginning. And it always gives me the warm fuzzies when I see that happen, because to me, that's the very nature of the game, right? Watching where you begin the journey, and then as you begin to realize the end of that journey is getting closer and closer, the threat becoming more visceral and the danger becoming more visceral, and all of this kind of like watching Xanath be so defensive and protective of Puck, you know, was like, it just showed that the growth of those characters was becoming like so center to everything. And it makes me sad though sometimes, because sometimes you don't want to say goodbye to characters. You don't want to say goodbye to them, but like anything, there's always a terminus. There's always an ending. There's always a finish to things. And I was feeling very nostalgic to the beginning of our campaign. So I was like doing a lot of reading and updated note taking. And to a certain degree this week, because I had a little bit of extra time on my hands, you know, you guys are, what level are you guys now?
You're 19.
Yeah. Yeah. I was doing my final kind of write-ups through all the series of notes and backstories. And now that we're about to finally begin to touch a little bit on Spot's backstory, I feel like Puck's backstory is finally concluded. Xanth is almost there. Earthen, with the threat of his family in the Tuscan Vale possibly finally coming to a threshold, and his commitment to bring back one of the missing Voigt clans as a way to bind the rest of the clans. We've been in the sea for so long. We've been in the Shattered Isles finally for a brief period. And here we find ourselves back at the beginning, but further inland, right? We're in the inland area of Wildmont. We're in the old stomping grounds of Rexingtrum and the Morrow Valley, and you know, where all these great things have taken place and have transpired. And this week I wrote the 3 final endings. So we're in the final arc, because I wrote Spot's backstory into the final arc, because I always felt that if you're going to be a Chaos Kitty, you should definitely be a Chaos Kitty when it matters, or you know, when it's pivotal into the story. So the introduction of Spot's contact, the Luxodon, is kind of written into that chaos. The eventual encounter that may take place in the Tuscan Valley, and finally Puck's being free of her past completely. All the things that have occurred to bring us all to this point, and with that weird bit of kind of concern that Xanath has, the idea of divinity fate and the kind of, license of your own choice of your own path, are beginning to kind of overlap with the origin story of Xanath. Xanath does not fit the bill of the typical traumatic upbringing. She came from a great house. She came from a great family. She just thought the world would be interesting to see. And here she's been traveling with a gnomish chaos seeker, a chaotic kitty, and a very kind of, how shall we say, paranoid, distrustful, typical human to a certain degree.
Yeah.
It's been a journey.
I resemble that.
You do resemble that. But where we last left off, the team having experienced the final purge of this chaotic, shadow-like energy from Puck, freeing her from this unknown torment that went all the way back to the island of Gnomeworks, where she became a kind of impromptu ceremonial offering by the individual that we once understood to be Davos, and secretly hiding in the folds of her mind and her historical kind of like past of what had happened, Caleb panicked. And amidst Caleb's panic, he made what he believed was the right choice, but didn't fully understand the consequence, possibly costing him the favor and empathy of newfound friends that have yet to establish their relationship with this mysterious elderly wizard called Caleb, who is now in charge of the Cerberus Assembly after remaking it and reassembling it into something that no longer represents the kind of evil kind of background structure that Ludinus had once kind of propped this place up to be. The very nature of Dwendal had changed with the passing of the king and growing favor of a mysterious female heir of the kingdom who has been gradually ascending to power within the monarchy, known as Queen Brendel. Most people call her Bren or Brenda for short. The shifting sands of everything around you and the reveal of both the lie of the Wandering Assembly as well as the unrevealed truth about what Mason's true intent is. Well, it seems like he's focusing on some kind of control or manipulation of the natural world in order to bring something about of his choosing or of his mastery. We know he's leveraging Strahd and the evil that Strahd once was. We know that the blood talisman has become into play, a device we suspect is the origin of the first of all vampire, and what Strahd's heritage and Strahd's history might mean for Mason's choices in what he's doing. But for now, out of concern of their safety, not sure about the threat in the Tuscan Vale, unsure about whether or not Puck has fully recovered from this event, a opportunity. Spot had found the Emerald Paw Dojo, a place of quiet, study, practice, a place where monks of the Emerald Paw have come and gone for centuries, practicing their kind of natural way of coexisting with the natural world. This dojo, this sanctuary that Spot has found, run by a monk, a tabaxi, almost leopard-looking monk that goes by the name, does anyone remember? Greenwind, master of the open palm. This also gave us an opportunity to understand a friend of Spot's, a Luxodon monk, goes by the name of Yellen, who is a kind of mentor for Spot. as each one of you grappled with these sudden changes and these sudden realizations of where this has all brought you. The long rest was given. For once, no sense of ill-fated ending or threat. Waking up to sounds and smells. Tea, fresh herbs, baked goods kind of wafting throughout the back portion of the dojo as one by one, you begin to hear the quiet rising of some of the students that make up this dojo. And before long, each one of you, clustered in the same area of sleep along the communal backdrop behind the dojo, are quietly awakened. Green wind gently approaching. And for the first time in your life spot, you did not hear someone come and approach you. You feel the gentle paw of green wind on your shoulder, waking you first, eventually waking Xaneth, and then Earthen, and then Puck. Good morning. The meal is prepared. Feel free, when you are ready, to join us for our morning activities. And then, when the morning is concluded, we shall discuss what you would like to do next. I have some new information I wish to share with all of you. Please, eat, wake, refresh yourselves. The monk quietly standing to her tabaxi height and then heading out, or his tabaxi height, heading out onto the main floor of the dojo, leaving the room empty except for the four of you. Four of you kind of sit there staring at each other, looking. You can see the shadowed silhouettes of the other monks practicing their morning routine. It is early morning. I believe we're on the early morning of day 3 since your arrival in Rexingstrom. Yep. What would you guys like to do today?
First, before I do anything, I just kind of want to check in on Puck and make sure she's doing okay. That was a big thing that Spot wanted to stay in with you guys.
Did you just call yourself Scott?
It's been a long time.
Scott's the cat.
If you do end up having a were-human situation, where you're bitten by a rabid human and turn into
a human. Oh my god, it's so good.
Earthen's feeling a little scared of water lately, you know.
They just want to make sure that Puck's doing okay, because she definitely had a rough time, and Spot wanted to be the cat friend there, which is why they didn't go and hang out with the other tabaxi.
Oh, thanks, Spot. Yeah, Puck is shaken, but she's handling it, and she's grateful for all the help.
Spot just kind of leaves her. I think I got you covered too. Just kind of gives you a thumbs up, and then just kind of goes over. Makes for the door and makes sure to give Earthen his customary just smack on the back of the head with his or with her tail.
The two kind of friends.
Yeah,
it's a good thing I'm not allergic to cats.
Oh, that'd be perfect.
Perfect.
Cat Lord, why couldn't you make this one human?
So we have trouble. We know there's trouble bearing down in the Vale. I need to see Ludinus. At least that was the plan.
he's
God's
currently
help
being
me.
held in a
I'm
prison,
still,
as far as you
yeah.
know.
God's help me. I'm still paranoid. Mason, could Mason have just done this on his own? Are you feeling okay, Puck?
Quiet
Think
for more
subject
than a
matter
second.
down.
Puck, are you okay? Oh, sorry. Yeah, Puck is very shaken, but she'll do what she needs to do.
Hang on.
And
I pull out the wand of gateway, and I'm gonna say punch, and activate the wand, so I can bring Punch here because Punch is still back in the aisles. From
Yeah.
when we left,
no.
right?
Yeah.
But so I'll use one of the charges of the wand of gateway just to summon Punch back here for her.
As you watch the gateway kind of quickly form, it's 5 feet tall, 3 feet across, and it's this swirling mass of white, yellow, and blue energy. And then there's this, at first, just this muzzle that partially pokes through the gateway, takes like a sniff, and then half of its head of the tiger pokes through. And then it sees Puck and immediately leaps through the gateway. As it leaps through, it lands right on top of Puck, just very four-legged style. Pins her to the ground and just starts doing those very like long tiger tongue kisses, just sloppily, like just, and then just. But then as soon as it's done, like being there, seeing that his best buddy is still okay, kind of very much shifts off of you, squats, and then turns away from you.
Oh, come here, bud.
Almost like to say,
Oh. I'm sorry, bud.
wow, wow, wow.
When you leave a cat on vacation.
Exactly.
No, I'm sorry. Thank you, Earthen. And I am very worried about your family. I don't know how long we should wait before we go there. Maybe even just get them out of the way from those whatever that seem like they could be potentially very difficult for us to defeat.
Yeah, Vasilisk and the vampire spawn. Yeah, I have some ideas about that, but I think this lewdness thing may need to go first.
From what I could tell from my scry, I mean, I think we have some time, but not a lot. I think they're going to be there today.
Yeah.
Could we take them away from there? Like, could we maybe warn the village to run and get your family just to a different city?
Well, I spoke to Caleb about at least letting the green, what are they called? The green wardens know that they were coming. So letting, I mean, at least maybe their journey might be harried a little bit before they can get there. But yeah, I've not forgotten the danger that's coming in the Vale.
The other sort of time-sensitive item is when I spoke to and scried on Alara yesterday, she is trapped on Mason's Island, and I was able to get her to basically not report on her location for 24 hours, but that was all I could get. I think we could maybe cascade and pull her through if we want to, although I don't know what we do with her when she gets here.
Would she just be an ally of convenience, or would she be a liability?
Really, my only interest is preventing her from giving Mason more information about us.
Could we pull her into a prison cell, since that's the direction we're heading in anyway?
Yeah, it's true.
So the prison cells have anti-magic runes
Wards.
on them, so wards on them. Sorry, thank you. So we could pull her
Summon
near
her.
the prison.
Yeah.
Right, we could get her near the prison.
Do they have anti-magic handcuffs by any chance?
You never know.
That would be something. Well, I understand if you wouldn't be too keen to want to talk to Caleb again, but
Mhm.
I could perhaps speak to him on our behalf.
I'm not a fan of his, but I'm not a fan of a lot of people at this point. I think you guys can talk to him to achieve whatever we need to achieve, and if he crosses me, I will take a balloon full of tiger urine and I will throw it at him.
I believe you for what it's worth.
Spot's just gonna look over at Punch and just be like, okay, your relationship just got way weirder. Like,
I think that comes from her old tracking days. She would do that to hide from the bad guys, right?
I'm being polite. I would also use
Every-
other forms of urine. I don't care. I'm very mad at him.
All right, D6 inspiration for urine creativity. I like that.
Thanks.
Well, whatever they've cooked up in there smells good. You didn't have a hand in that, did you, Spot?
no, I did not. I actually meant to talk to Greenleaf about that. Like, the least I could do is be of service to the monastery while I'm here. But no, I haven't have not touched the food here.
Well, I'm gonna go break my fast and try and wash up a bit before we get going on the day. So Earthen's leaving the room to go sit down at the table.
Yeah, you head over to the slide, the wood and paper slide wall as you slide it sideways, and are immediately just kind of pelted with the sounds of a unified chorus of kind of reactions to a physical workout that about a dozen monks, young monks, are currently going through. As you look over to see Greenwind kind of guiding them through their calisthenics, he nods towards you and then points towards a long floor table, similar to where you were at the previous evening when you had met Greenwind. And you could see this amazing table of
Hey, Hunt,
very holistic foods. Like, you could tell that there's no meat. It all appears to be vegetarian in nature. Breads, vegetables, eggs, not vegan, but vegetarian. A lot of grains and cheeses. And you could tell that they take their dietary needs here kind of in step with their belief system and, you know, the way that they kind of go through their physical activity, their calisthenics. Closing the door behind you, you quietly walk over, sit crisscross on the ground, and begin to enjoy your morning meal. What about the rest of you?
Yeah, I would go sit down for breakfast. I'm pretty eager to hear whatever Greenwind has to say.
Okay. Leaving Puck and Spot.
We can go eat. I just want to make sure. So after this, we're going to the prison, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sounds like a full day's work.
We got a lot going on today.
Puck sits down. Spot, what are you doing? Are you joining them for the morning meal? You're mute.
It's still.
sorry. I think I'm going to join them for the morning meal and just kind of look around and see what kind of vibe I get from the other tabaxi here, because it's been a very long time since Spot has been around this many other tabaxi.
And there are at least a dozen other tabaxi here of various clan titles and clan names. You could tell by the disposition of their physical look the adornments that they wear, why they all wear the kind of traditional gi-like robes and stylings of those that practice the monk traditions of the Emerald Paw and the Way of the Open Paw. This group seems very eclectic, even from a tabaxi perspective. No one is alike, and they all seem to have unique identifiers when it comes to the patterning of their fur. Some you reckon are from the Gray Hills, some are from Whitestone Bluffs, some look to be from the Red Mile and other locations that these clans tend to find their way out of at some point in their wanderlust. And these ones seem a lot younger than you, Spot. While Greenwind seems to be a lot older than you and has settled into a life of being the master of this dojo, the others are young. Not quite cubs, but not quite adults yet either. Kind of somewhere in between. As if this is their last thing that they're going to do before they determine where their wanderlust might take them and where they choose to wander and practice their nomadic rituals, as all tabaxis do for a brief period of their young lives. As all of you sit down and consume the meal, before long, the 15 minutes of the opening work of the monks ceases. They eagerly and silently go and collect their rucksacks as they begin their day's worth of outdoor activity, leaving Greenwind behind in the dojo to join you at the table. He quietly sits down opposite of the four of you. Well, I must say I was in some meditation last night. I have reached out to your friend, Spots, Yellen. I know where they are. They are currently offering themselves up as the temple ward of the Red Mile. This is a place deep in the Grey Lands. I expressed my concern about your journey and the journey that you and your friends are on. You may want to pay her a visit when you get a chance. They may be able to help you. Other than that, a strange visitor this morning before I woke you. A very humble-looking wizard came by the name of Caleb. Needless to say, I told him that you were busy and to seek you later. So, after our discussions last night, what is your plan? What are your choices you plan to make?
At this point, I definitely want to meet with my old teacher and see if she's able to assist us in our quest or in our errand here. I don't know fully. I feel my wanderlust is coming to an end, but I don't know quite what I'm going to do with myself. I feel drawn back to Oreskos, but I don't know.
Well, if you feel your wanderlust is coming to an end, perhaps it's time for you to open up your own place of study. Share the knowledge that you've learned, teach the cubs as they come of age, and help them begin their journeys, much like I have. It's been a long time since I've wandered this world.
I was kind of thinking about that, either building a new or refurbishing an old monastery in my village. I don't know, maybe, but there's issues going back, but nothing that I can't deal with, I'm sure.
You know, the tabaxi that were in here are a lot more well behaved than the last group we met.
You just see Spot's tail just hovering right behind his head, just looking for any kind of non-verbal cue from Greenwind.
These ones aren't drinking alcohol that makes you go unconscious. Yeah,
it melts your skin on your face. You know, I meant it as a compliment.
All tabaxi must find their own way. Some go this path. Some take the path of the sea. Some take to the path of the air, the land. How they wander is their choice. Not all come back. Those that do help the clans that receive them back to teach and mentor those that will begin their wanderlust at some point. Not a perfect system, but it's kept us moving along quite nicely.
I appreciate you letting us know Caleb checked in. I will probably seek him out on our way to the prison.
Ah, so you still intend to move forward with your conversation with this lewdness then?
It's just unfinished business.
Do you still continue to seek the shelter of the Emerald Paw, or will you and the others be moving on? There's no limit to our hospitality. I just want to make sure that your plans are still your plans.
I'll look back to everybody else. I mean, it really kind of depends on how these things go, I think, right?
I think that's right. I think we certainly know we won't be here all of today. I don't know whether we'll be back.
Well, enjoy your day in Rexentrum. The door is open to you. As long as I am caretaker of this dojo, I will not allow anything to harm our guests. But, as Spot knows, I will be transparent to you. We do not allow evil here. Leave it at the door. Don't invite it in. A heavy conscience is very difficult to carry around your whole life. Greenwind stands up quickly and quietly. Well, I must attend to my students. Good day. And they just kind of, it's weird. You've gotten used to Spot being silent. Like, Spot just doesn't, like, make any noise. And this monk's no different, except maybe even a little bit, like, kind of creepy at how quiet they are, you know, compared to even the subtle noises that Spot might make from time to time. And you just watch them quietly stand without really moving, quietly walk towards the exit of the dojo. You're just like they're not moving, and then just kind of gone.
I'm going to stand up and splash my face with water, like kind of rinse off the breakfast and, look back at everybody else.
Spot is recoiling from you right now. I need you to know that.
That's good drinking water.
There's a well outside for that. Oh.
Hey, I only act like I know everything. Come on. I'm sorry.
Just turned to Puck and Xanth's like, man, humans are so uncouth.
Apropos, can Puck just go make sure that she does get those pea balloons? I would like to have them.
Oh,
Cheap splatters.
just gotta have them prepared, yeah.
You never know. We're gonna say, Caleb, I'm committed to the...
As we make our way that direction, do you want to try and stop at any shops or markets here in Rexentrum? I mean, how is everybody else looking on supplies?
I'm perfectly fine.
I think I'm okay for supplies.
We kind of spent a lot of money recently, so Puck is gonna be a little greedy now. Maybe a little cheap. But maybe we can sell some stuff. Honestly, a lot of stuff that we got we ended up not needing, such as the magic earwax.
Magic
Yep.
earwax.
Yeah.
For your ears, and it's
That's
magic.
right.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. There are some things you could potentially unload if you wanted to.
Maybe
I
just-
could really use some better armor other than clothing.
Oh, whoa!
I've been wearing clothing this for a while now.
How are you alive?
I stay normally I stay really far away from stuff. I just try to keep stuff moving. I mean, it gave me benefits on stealth. Like I got a bonus of stealth rolls, but I had no AC from it. No bonus AC from any of it.
Well, maybe we could do a very quick shopping spree, and then do all the really important, dramatic stuff.
I mean, that's why I stayed like more than arm's length away from everything as much as possible. Or I changed myself into a dragon.
Oh.
Because they have a natural AC, right?
And we could probably use more health potions and stuff like that.
Yeah. I do, as we go to step out of the dojo, I do leave 4 platinum, like in the drop box, or in the
Tide box.
The tithe box. Yeah,
Yeah.
I dropped 4 platinum in there on the way out.
And I look for someone who would like to buy magic earwax and Hand of a Mare Person and book about mare people. And I also
You still have a hag's
book,
tier too,
but
don't
I
you?
don't know. I'm sorry?
Don't you have that hag's tier too?
Hag's tier. Oh,
Yeah,
right.
you got like something from the hag, right? The little green orb or whatever it was.
Oh, but isn't that something like you're supposed to be able to call her in your hour of need? Is that Puck
Yeah.
or was that Spot? There was something like that, wasn't there?
I think that was the agreement she made with Puck. She had
Yeah.
a separate agreement with Spot.
Yeah, I think so. I think she kind of had a bad relationship with Spot, if I recall.
I think she just didn't like talking to
It's
Spot at
not
all.
as nice to Spot as to Puck.
Well, Spot called her out on eating fairies, which is very fair. She didn't like that.
Spot was hungry.
No, Spot
I
was the
drew the
nice
line
one.
Yeah, I draw the line to eating sentient beings. I was quite mad at them at the hag.
Yeah, very fair. She was very creepy, but she helped us. Kind of. No, not kind of. She helped us.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, no, I mean, she gave us the coin. Very grateful for that coin.
The coin did come in handy.
So yeah, I'm just gonna look to see if I can sell some of my adventuring stuff.
Okay. It's an interesting area. Rexitrum historically has always been made up of different, like, 4 dominant areas. You guys began your journey here in the Shimmer Ward amongst the candles, where the Great 5 Towers, or the Great 5 Spires, that make up the main kind of original control of the Cerebus Assembly. But that has been eroded, and most of the function of the candles is a bit more administrative now. The grounds of the castle, and where the family traditionally maintained control, which is called the Shimmer Ward, the old buttresses and walls and gates that once kept the Shimmer Ward separate from the Mosaic Ward are mostly gone at this point. The King's Way has been renamed to the Queen's Way, which is the main bypass that takes you out the South Gate. Or if you were to go north of the city, you'd be at the edge of the Pearlbow Wilderness. The Tangles makes up the kind of southwestern area, while the Mosaic Ward dominates most of the southeastern area. But due east of the Shimmer Ward is an area of slums known as the Mudtop Ward. But it's also the greatest scene of both reconciliation with the people of Rexentrum, as well as reconstruction. A great deal of the money pouring in to Rexentrum is due to the benefits of the now unified Wildmont alliance that has been kind of proffered and offered up by the change of power within the Dwindle, the Clovis conclave that is kind of shifting away from the power of a single family along the coast, and the expansion of the kind of peace accords between all the kingdoms within Wildmont and the Kryn dynasty. And this has been the most kind of like stable 5-10 years that has been very much growing since the descent or decline of the Cerberus Assembly and the decline of the Dwindle monarchy, which is now more of a council administrative function than it once used to be. And you guys find yourself wandering most of the marketways and shops of the Mosaic Ward. Before long, you come across what feels like a kind of very traditional area or marketplace, a series of shops and other activities kind of unfolding around you as it's now summer. Spring is gone, summer heat. While not usually this difficult when you're in coastal cities or out in the sea itself, but this far into a very densely packed in valley, as well as up along the Pearlbow Wilderness, it gets quite humid here from time to time. And you're kind of beginning to experience one of those Rexentrum beginning humid-like summers. But for you, Puck, there is a shop that catches your eye. It's called the Tangle Weave. And it catches your eye because of the items that are hanging in the window, the items that are kind of like leaning and stacked up in front of it, crates filled with both exotic goods and other things. But what catches your eye first, Puck, is a ink-drawn poster in the window. And it's a poster selling items, apothecary items, and holding a apothecary bottle with a big sign underneath the "Come and seek your famous green bottle ointments and tonics here" is a well illustrated kind of representation of the halfling green bottle. It seems to be a kind of proof that she is who she is. Not only a curator of apothecary design, but also sells what she finds. Looking through the windows and open door, you can see a very stocky dwarf kind of like placing things on counters, organizing equipment, hanging up armor, and kind of unpacking weapons. The dwarf seems to have a steel plate that covers the top of their right of their head and curves and arcs all the way towards the top of their jaw. Big, like gray white beard, kind of bushied out and not kept all that well. Wearing mostly just leathers and linen attire, kind of catches you staring at the poster. Hey, I see you staring at my green bottle, Wes. I've got quite a few of the unguents and ointments inside if you wish to be a purveyor of her goods. She's quite a good person when it comes to such things.
So I hear.
Well, come on in, enjoy my wares. Oh my, glob of earwax you're holding in. Can I see that for a moment?
Yeah, I hand it very carefully.
I've seen this before. What are you doing with it? You planning on doing some swimming or possibly something else to do with the underwater? Oh, you've got friends. I got my eye on you, Tabaxi. Please, come in. Come in.
When you say that, he's just gonna steal from you more.
But I'd appreciate it as long as you know what he steals, you can pay for it. Anyways, please come on in, enjoy, look around, shop at your delight. And he kind of goes behind the counter, puts the earwax on the counter, and begins to. He pulls out like a small little silver coin around a chain from underneath his, and grips it firmly and invokes a divine prayer. You watch as a bit of magic flares around the earwax. Goes, hey, this is the real thing. Are you looking to sell this? Is this why you had it out?
I'm thinking about it. I haven't decided yet. I'll see what it's worth, and then I'll decide.
Oh, well, I can do a good job of selling this to sailors and others that travel at sea that don't swim well or find the need to keep the water out of their ears. This is a good portion. I could give you a few hundred gold for it.
I don't know. I might need it, so I need a little bit of time to decide if it's worth it for me.
Well, of course, little gnome, don't worry. Browse around, see if there's anything I have that you might like. Is there anything else that you might be interested in selling?
Well, I really don't want to part with any of these treasures. You have so many cool things. Oh, I'll consider it, but I don't know. I don't know. We've seen some pretty impressive stuff, so it's kind of hard to measure up to that.
By the way, is Punch with you guys, or did Punch get left at the dojo?
He's with us.
Oh, he's with us.
Okay, all right. Well, I understand.
We have this, and I show him the hand.
Oh my! Why do you carry around of a dead hand of a dead person? What?
Well, it's not
magical,
just a
or-
person; it's a mere person, and
There are merfolk.
oh yeah, and this could be of great benefit to any adventurer who wants to dare their luck with this savage and dangerous people.
Oh, he's totally inside. He's totally inside checking you. I just rolled a natural 1.
Yeah.
He kind of just stares at you. If you say so. Do you mind if I check it for magic?
Let us look around a little bit, then I'll hand it to you. I know some people can be a little handsy with the goods, Been there.
That's not quite what I meant to do. I was just, I apologize. Didn't mean to infer anything about that. But yes, please, take your time. Look around. If anything interests you, seek me out.
Earthling, you needed,
Do you sell the armor? Perhaps anything?
I do.
Anything? I'm. You can see I'm a weakling. I'm very. Not very good at the hand-to-hand, and it tends to be bad whenever someone gets close to me in a fight. So
I
anything you
would
have,
imagine so, yeah. Show the signs of being a bard. Yeah, fight more with your mouth than you do with your body, right?
I do, and I think I do it quite well.
You must be. You're not dead.
This time.
Oh, that sounds terrifying.
So, if you have, I've heard tales of some chain shirts made by the elves that are fairly resilient, but wear like silks. If you don't have any, would you know where I could find something similar to this?
You're talking about elven chain, then, yeah.
Yes.
Well, I'd have a couple things here that might interest you. Not quite armor in the contemporary way, but I've managed to get a hold of an item I think you might find interesting. You watch as he kind of turns away from the counter, kind of looks behind some boxes and crates, and just kind of moves some things and pulls out this very shiny, like metallic kind of fabric almost. But you'd swear that they show the markings or earmarks of little round chainmail markings. And kind of looks at you. I would imagine that you're not really wanting to wear anything heavy then.
Yes, I don't do well with heavy things. That is true.
Well, this here might catch your eye. If you don't mind, hold your arms straight out, would you? As you put your arms out, you guys watch as he unfolds this fabric and then almost like a large blanket or sheet just throws it against Earthen, and you hear him utter like an elvish word, which Xanath you would have picked up on for sure. Dissonance. He kind of in Sylvan he says dissonance protection is what he says, and you watch as the fabric conforms to Earthen's body and then takes on the appearance of an elven chainmail outfit, but it kind of blends in nicely with his regular clothes as well. No weight, no sense of wearing any weight, but as you look down at it, Earthen, you kind of do that to the hauberk piece, so you can feel the metal, you can barely hear the metal react. Got this from an elven friend of mine when I took a visit to Kryn about a year ago. He was unloading a good deal of this. He calls it dissonant fabrics. Very fine manufacture of very small patterns of elven chain. And then he uses a kind of magic to invoke a way for it to, when it's not on your body, it's but fabric by itself. But when it adheres to your body, it kind of takes on the shape of your needful thing. And it would appear that you're in need of good protective armor. Therefore, it takes on that shape. It is made with residual as well. So while it might be a bit expensive, it doesn't require any attunements.
I quite like this. How much would you part with this for?
Well, it's the only batch I have. I don't know when I'm going to get another. So to kind of, mimic what your friend here gave me, I'd have to think about it a while and see about, if I can let it. I'm just kidding. Let's call it 25,000 gold.
Okay. Let me dig that out.
No, Puck is elbowing him. Wait, no, I can get it down. I promise.
The door's like, what do you mean? Okay, I'm not used to somebody just offering up retail for my prices. Don't you want to haggle and call each other names or anything?
Yeah, I need to point out, the entire time, every second, this guy's eye is not on spot. They're not stealing anything. They're taking things off the shelf with their tail and hind feet and just putting them in random locations so he can't find anything.
Your every inventory controls nightmare right
Yes.
now. You're like,
Yes.
I'm moving the milk over to the cheese. I'm moving the cheese over to the grains.
Yeah, I'm being non-destructive, but he insulted me.
Oh, you're
when I
being
came
mentally
to the top
destructive.
package. But after Eartha just kind of agrees to pay full retail, they just turn around, just slack-jawed with a random thing in one of their paws, just almost dropping it. Just
See how funny it is when we make jokes.
I understand. But anyways, he folds it up, wraps it up into some silken cloth, and moves it over to you. So you're now in possession of dissonant fabric. Once per day, you can make it into any shape or form of protection that you require. whether it be dwarven chain, elven chain, plate mail, any armor that you choose. It suffers no weight. So all of the outcomes are considered light when it comes to the actual weight of it. It offers +3 for protection. As a bonus action, you can inspire feign death. So you can actually, as a bonus action once per day, you can let the fabric know that you'd like to pretend to be dead. It then uses the spell feign death, putting you into a possum-like state for up to an hour. It's the perfect fabric for a bard.
Yes, yes, it is.
Well, is there anything else I can get you? I mean, I may actually close early and take a vacation.
I have something. If you want to take a look at it, I take the guardian amulet that is no longer tied to the djinn.
Nice. Bit of a piece of jewelry. Is it magical?
It was. There was a very angry djinn trapped inside of here that's no longer trapped inside of here, which probably would be why he's angry.
Ah, you have been on some travels then. I could take that off your hands for about 1,000 gold if you wish.
Sure. It's yours.
Then we'll call that 24,000 gold for the fabric.
Yes, sir.
So
It's 25,000, not 2,500.
yeah, it was 25,000 gold. Yeah.
Well, while we're talking price of bread, Puck is
I
really
didn't mention anything about bread. You're a very strange gnome, but you're quite. He looks and sees the tiger kind of bristle a bit. You're very nice. Very nice.
Thank you. What do you have that might help somebody with a being that is of the undead nature?
Oh, well, I'm a bit of a follower of Tamora myself. I'm a bit of a, how should you say, clergy. I do keep a pretty healthy stock of holy waters, holy emblems, and other scrolls and potions that might help. Are you looking to survive their touch? Do they exhibit the chance of curse? What's your greatest threat that you think these undead might have towards you?
We might encounter a vampire in our
Holy Tarmoa!
continued
Man.
travels.
You know, the best way to deal with vampires is when they're over there in front of you, you turn and you go the other way. That's like the best way to deal with them. I mean, I have some of the more typical equipment that you might need, but some of them can be very powerful and difficult to kill for sure. I do have some silver of mercury potion as well as some other kind of traditional oils to battle the vampire, slow them down, weaken them. I carry a pretty heavy assortment of silver ingots that you might want to use to produce weaponry and such, but there hasn't been much call for any of that for a very long time. So I haven't really made much for the purposes of dealing with the vampire. I mean, given some time, perhaps I could go and visit the temple ward of Taramoa and maybe garner you some special items, but that could take a while.
How long is a while?
A couple days.
Spot kind of chimes in. I don't mean to butt in. I am actually also a worshiper of Timora. If I can be of any assistance to you there, I can comprehend and interpret any languages you come across. Just throw it out there, and I'm quite dexterous. So, it seems like some things you might want for your luck deity. Just
Well, it's not a matter of needing that kind of help. And lucky day to you. The challenges I have is the ward of our temple won't be back for another 2 days. They are the only ones that are gifted with the ability to share both their knowledge as well as the equipment that they might have available. I mean, you could always go to the wards, the north of the Shimmer, and find other temple keepers that might be able to help you. If you truly have an undead problem such as this, or you're planning on traveling upon places that deal with the undead, surely they must be willing to help you then.
Just gonna make some note, like, all right, going to the Shimmer Temple of Timora.
So you don't have too many things against vampires.
Not really. It's not something that we plan for.
I kind of try to read him a little bit to see if he's telling the truth on that.
Yeah, give me an insight check. Yeah.
Or can I do,
Detect thoughts.
yeah.
Yeah, you could do that if you're just going for surface thoughts. You definitely pick up on the surface thoughts.
What are the surface thoughts?
Just kind of the excitement where you can hear his surface thoughts. Holy shit, 24,000 gold. Holy shit, 24,000 gold. You know, just going on and on in his brain. He seems very excited about that purchase.
Can I dig a little deeper and see what he thinks about the whole do you have anything against vampires question?
He's able to resist you with a natural 20. That gives him a 26 wisdom save.
Yeah, I can't beat that.
Yeah. You just feel that natural, impenetrable kind of dwarven stubbornness kick in as you kind of try to push deeper.
Do you mind showing us some of your anti-vampire stuff?
I certainly can show you what I have and see if it makes any sense for your purpose. I do have a scroll of remove curse. I do have a scroll of turn undead. And I have a vial of silver acid. Simply throw it at the undead. It does radiant and acid damage at the same time. Because it's blessed by the Holy Church of Timora, it means that they cannot regenerate from the damage that they are inflicted upon by this silver nitrate. That's really all I have.
I don't know.
Yeah, I see where you're going with this. I see.
Well, what do you have for protection and extending someone's life so they don't die?
Often when it comes to extending someone's life, I can offer up excellent advice. Or, if that doesn't help you, I do have potions of healing and regeneration as well. As far as protection is concerned, I do have some protective gear, shields, belts, and rings, of course, of protection. You know, there is one bit of gear that perhaps you might be interested in. It is almost as if it's made for the size of your head. It's a circlet that I came across. At first, I thought that maybe it was jewelry for like a small child, but I guess it could be for a halfling or gnome in small stature as well. It's a protective circlet against necromancy. It automatically gives you resistance to all necromancy damage, and if you successfully save against any necrotic damage, you automatically take no damage from the necrotic effect as well. Does not require attunement. That's basically all it does. Never had a cause or a reason to sell it, but if you're going to be facing the undead, I would imagine that necrotic or dark powers could be involved.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. It's a very interesting selection you have there. You know, you've inspired me to show you some of our more serious things.
Oh, more serious, like a leg?
You could say that.
A
And
leg in a bottle?
oh, if
I guess it would
only.
be in a barrel, perhaps. Could be a barrel. Anyways, if you've got the hand, I would imagine you got more of the merfolk lying around somewhere, as you appear to be comfortable pickling merfolk.
Oh, well, somebody certainly is. And she takes out the golem building book that they got from the very mad scientist who was making the cloud golem.
Holy shit, that's right, you got that. He looks
Yep.
down at the book and...
My
Oh,
hoarding
right.
is paying off.
Yeah, he like... That is fascinating. May I take a glance at it quickly?
Quickly.
Kind of slides it over, opens the cover, starts kind of fingering through some of the pages and stops and closes it. Tell you what, I'll give you this circlet in exchange for this book.
You have nothing else?
But I guess it depends. He looks around. How are you with the rings of protection? Do you have any of them currently?
I have a few, but I'm curious.
You have a few. For crying out loud, where have you people been? I don't know. I've got a cloak that might be helpful. I've got boots and belts. I've got well, I do have this one item, but I don't know if you're interested or not. Give it a go. He goes over to like a ceramic little box and he opens it. And there's this tennis ball sized marble inside of it, because you can tell it's made of stone and glass of marble. Pulls it out and he sets it down, and then he stares at it for a moment and he goes, "Swarm of crickets." And when he says that, you watch as the marble splits open and a huge cloud of crickets come like boiling out of the marble, and it begins to just fill up the shop. And then he quickly, chaos done. And then you watch as the cloud of crickets kind of dissipate. That's the only one I've ever tried with it. This is a chaos orb. Once per day, you kind of just tell it to do something. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. I've experimented with more nefarious questions to it, but nothing too advanced. But if you need a distraction or something to give you a little bit of an edge, this might be helpful for you.
I mean, it sounds a little unreliable, but I guess whatever.
Chaos is always unreliable, but quite fun. Like,
Oh,
sets it
I guess
down
you
on the
never know when
counter.
you need extra insects. And
Well,
she tries
it
to
doesn't
play it
have
very
to be.
cool.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a swarm of crickets. Meanwhile, you can feel Punch kind of like nudging at you and like smiles up at you, and there's like a mouthful of crickets in his mouth.
Yeah, I guess whatever. We'll add that one. And I give him so the ear, okay. So we're trading the book for the circlet. We still have the earwax and the hand to sell. For the circlet and for the orb.
I'm okay with that. We could do a straight trade on that.
You know what? Just as much of the vampire stuff that you can give us. I know. Or, you know what? I'll give you for one silver mercury potion, and a promise that you will try to get us something that would destroy a vampire as much as possible. I know you can't guarantee that, but this is a show of good faith.
I like you, little gnome. Absolutely. Tell you what. Here's a vial of silver nitrate. Here is the scroll of Turn Dead, and the circlet, as well as the Chaos Orb. I would like the hand, the earwax, and if you don't mind, first pick of anything that you might come across that others are not interested in, and I will make inquiries to find you what you need.
That sounds like a deal. And she puts out her little hand for a handshake.
And his big dwarven hand kind of just envelops it and just, but very tenderly kind of gives you that up and down motion. Ah, good. Now, as soon as your tabaxi there is done rearranging my shelves, perhaps they are in need of something and have garnered my attention, or the clerk here, the seer. Is there something that you might require?
I don't have anything that I need.
Oh, a person of the cloth that is both wealthy and has all their needful things. Perhaps I should switch the helm then. Tabaxi, anything that you require?
Spot just kind of slowly puts the book or whatever that was in their tail back in there. Yes, actually. I just visited with the monks at the other monks of my order. I didn't want to bother them with this. They'd already done so much for us, but I wanted to see if perhaps you had anything that could either help me focus my key or allow me to draw on it more readily.
Focus your key. Draw it. That's a pretty monkey. I see what I did there. A monk-specific item. The closest I have to that is a device that might enhance your stunning strike.
I'm listening.
It's a ring that you'd have to wear. Basically, as a bonus action, when you invoke Stunning Strike, it causes the person that you strike to be at disadvantage for the save, and increases the difficulty upon which your strike will cause them a stunning effect. Fortunately, that's all I have. Most monks don't end up here looking to purchase or acquire anything from me. Specifically, they tend to kind of rely on themselves. Oh my god, his picture's frozen, isn't it? I thought maybe he was doing yeah, it was. I totally thought he was doing a cringy pause. Lightning must have hit the ground near his house.
Bumped the reset button on my PC.
Yeah.
Well, I had your friend for some reason just standing there frozen as if to be standing at something.
I think he's communing with Tamora.
Yes, it is not his lucky day. Their lucky day. What brings such a fine crowd as you four and your very large kitty cat there with the drool coming out of his... Oh, wait a minute. I think your friend is coming out of his strange sense of isolation. Oh, you're back! Oh, that was very weird.
Yep. I'll be back on my main PC in just a second. I bumped my PC's reset button with my cat drugs. So, but yeah, I'm on my phone for a few minutes because, of course, there was a Windows update queued. But as soon as that's done, I'll be back on the main. So, unfortunately, I did not get any of that.
I told you, he's commuting with Tamora.
Exactly. Anyway, I apologize because of that technical issue. I have absolutely no idea what's going on.
Basically, it's a ring of enhanced stunning strike. The person that you strike will have disadvantage on their Constitution save, and it will add a +2 to the difficulty of your current effect of stunning strike.
Okay. I'll be honest with you, what I was more looking at was something that would help me recover my just something that would allow me to draw on it for longer.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have anything of that nature. Most monks tend to trade with themselves. I've never really had an opportunity to trade with a monk, so I don't keep much of that possession on me. Seeking out a monk master of the many dojos that are present here in the Shimmerwood, perhaps they have something directly that they can trade with you.
I will go back to the dojo when I'm able, but what would you like for that ring?
Oh, let's see here. Your friends have already traded and done me good bargains. Let's say 1,400 gold and the ring is yours.
All right, I think I can do that, and kind of brought the inventory restructuring on yourself.
That's all right. I don't mind putting it back. It keeps me busy and keeps me awake.
Right. Should be back on.
But here you go. The ring is yours. Well, thank you for the business. Perhaps visit me in the near future. Within a couple days or so.
Well, that was part of our bargain.
Yeah, so he kind of like hands the ring off to Spot, and Earthen's got his new armor. Xanath content with what she has. Puck, you now have a few things that you have. The four of you kind of exit his shop, the Tangle, and you're back out in the streets of the Mosaic Ward, you're in the Mosaic Ward. Where would you guys like to go next?
Are we ready to go to the prison, or you have something else to do before then? I mean, we can stop by Caleb on the way there.
All right. I just want to look at Earth and just be like, hey, do you guys think you'll be okay there? Because I would like to go speak with Green a little bit more length.
Yeah, that seems okay.
There's no magic there, so.
So actually, it's a pretty good place to have Spot, but.
I mean, you could always just open a portal, like if there's something that you need before, and like Spot will just jump through it.
If somebody else has a portal and you don't realize it.
No more portal problems. So you guys watch Spot disappear back into the crowd in the direction of where the Emerald Paw Dojo was located. The three of you begin to look beyond the boundaries of the initial walls and southern gate. The prison is no longer sequestered in the interior space of Rexentrum. It's now a kind of dull and drab structure that exists on a low-lying set of hills just on the outskirts of the city. And during your walk down the Queen's Way and through the southern gate and out into the outskirts of the city, for you, Earthen, this city feels very different. What you remember and what you experience compared to what you're seeing now, it's almost like there's two different realities of what was and what Rexentrum is trying to become, trying to make itself into. Passing by some of the sprawling suburbs that have been newly built on the outside of Rexentrum, the three of you with Punch in tow begin to approach the pathway, a gravel road that seems to take you up about a couple hundred feet up into this flattened area of hillscape where this old, just drab gray building. You can see it's heavily guarded. There's a parapet that people are walking. You can see central towers, and it's, for all intents and purposes, is a prison, but there's a board, a signage on the outside of the prison, kind of talking of consideration, warnings, and making sure that you agree to the terms as you enter into this prison. And below the prison signage, it says population 1. As it seems to have been a prison specifically built to hold lewdness.
I'm going to guess that's our guy. From the signage, is there anything that we need to worry about with our gear?
There is, at the bottom, it says simply check in with the master guard at the entrance, and they will give you further instructions.
Are you ready?
Can I do a deep detect thought on the guards?
As they pass by you?
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
before we enter.
Are you doing
Just-
surface or going right down into the...
Right down into the... Because I think we were talking about how we're not sure how he's communicating with the outside world.
The guards are very easy to read. They're bored. They want action. They don't believe this old wizard, this old elven wizard, is a threat any longer. There's just this feeling of it's a waste of time, this general feeling that they're wasting their time.
Okay,
And you
I guess-
wait as each one kind of passes by you, and it's kind of a consensus feeling amongst the guards.
Oh. Well, that's its own kind of concerning.
I agree. If you're sharing that information. Not to be detecting your thoughts.
Just an endless chain.
So we're going to head on in and speak to the first guards at the guard shack about our
the
special items.
pathway on the grounds that leads you past the billboard, the signage. You go up to a door, a steel door with guards on either side. The door is open, and they you kind of make inquiries. You go, Master Greenwich will say to you. You go through the doorway and into a very drab kind of stone foyer entrance where it's just a couple chairs, and sitting at a desk is this kind of like very much bureaucratic looking type of administrator. Their uniform doesn't fit anymore. Their long scraggly hair, their unkempt beard, just kind of like looks like they're reading something on the desk, and looks up. Oi! Well, you three look at... Oh, for fuck's sake, that can't go in there. As he kind of like stares at the tiger. Can I help? Yeah, I'm just going to move my chair back a bit. Can I help the three of you? Is there something you're looking for? What do you need?
Not a something, but a someone.
Oh, please don't tell me you're scholars and university and academic students again looking to talk to this old wizard. Find something else to do with your time. I'm busy. Goes back to reading his journal.
I'm going to cast Detect Thoughts now. On
Surface?
Greenwich. No, that whole scholars bit. I'm looking for like that hook is for me to say, like, what is he talking about, scholars and shit.
Yeah, as you stand there and he's purposely ignoring you, his thought patterns and what he's thinking just kind of boil up to the surface. So sick and tired of these fucking people always coming up here trying to glean information from this genocidal maniac. Ugh, should have put the dog down when we had a chance. Can't believe they still let these rich kids in. He's just grumbling about the inequities of the situation. Seems genuine.
So, my friend.
Are you still here?
Yes. I am sorry. Do I look like a scholar? I'm not a scholar.
Ah, you're pretty.
Well, I thank you for the compliment, but I didn't know that was a predicate of being scholarly.
Well, you know, a lot of students and teachers are kind of pretty like you. You know, lots of color, signs that they're rich and educated. Not like us poor, humble god folk. Just putting it out there.
Before I press you further on attending to your guest,
Press me. Am I being interrogated? I'm confused.
Would you have a logbook that we could observe?
Yeah. Well, I keep a registry of people that come and visit the old man. I can't just hand it over to anybody. Sorry, no.
We are friends of Caleb, the current head of the Cerberus Assembly. As a matter of fact, that incident at the Towers and the Fingers last night, we helped resolve that situation with Caleb.
Saying, for instance, that you are Caleb's friend. What information are you looking for? He pulls open a drawer, takes out the registry, and sets it on the desk in front of him. Yo, feel free to look inside you. I don't know many people that would throw Caleb's name around so lightly. So, if you are working for him,
I do suppose we're working towards a common end, and I also suspect we may have encountered some of these scholars who have visited your friend here recently.
I don't know anything about that. No one's visited Ludinus in 2 years.
Well, recent is a relative time.
So,
Perhaps.
Ludinus can't use magic, and his chamber has anti-magic properties, but somebody could use magic on you to let them in, to compel you to let them in and not remember that.
They could, but that's about be as far as they're gonna get.
That's not great, man.
Well, tell you what. Assume that you just use magic on me. I get up. I open up the only door that's gonna lend you access to the iron hallway. The moment you cross that threshold, you're already in trouble. No magic will work beyond that. On top of that, there are many glyphs and wards of protections of various kinds. There's physical traps as well. If anyone can successfully navigate this place that we keep this man, well, they've earned the right to try, but I can assure you, it is no easy feat. These systems were designed by some pretty infamous people. I believe Essick was involved, Gilmore was involved, and some crazy blue tiefling that went by the name of Jester was also involved. Her plans are quite maniacal. It's like a shiver. Anyways, can assure you. And who would visit the old man anyways? No one cares about the dying elf.
Well, what if somebody wanted to do things on his behalf in the outside world?
Like what? What could they do? Ever since the apogee occurrence and the near destruction of the Fae and the material plane, most people have agreed. Yeah, Ludinus, yeah, bad guy. Keep him locked up till he dies. And now that he's separated from the device that used to give him long life, he's far more manageable than he used to be.
Would you mind if we looked into your brain real deeply to see if there are any hidden memories there?
Hidden memories? I didn't know you could do that. Yeah, feel free. Go right ahead. If you're with Caleb, there's nothing to fear on my side, right?
Concerning amount of confidence from this guy.
This guy is the worst guard ever.
Hey, he's pretty friendly. I'm okay with friendly guards.
Okay, I delve into his brain as deep as I possibly can to see if there are any suppressed memories.
Take our 5-minute break, and when we get back, we'll see what you find. That hour and a half went by fast, man.
It did.
How'd that
flew.
happen? Oh. And we are back. So, Spot, as you make your way back towards the Emerald Paw, the dojo of the Way of the Open Paw, you do recall that Greenwind was attending to the students outside. And it's not too difficult to find them because there's a 2-acre garden area that is built up with rocks, trees, and kind of other natural kind of curated open space. And some of the rocks are stacked in 20, 30-foot levels. Some of the trees are 15, 20 feet tall. And you can see all these students practicing their tumbles and their flips and their slow falls. They're all kind of practicing the things that you've perfected over time. And there you can see Master Greenwind kind of giving encouragement, yelling out purposeful words of focus. And while the rest of the city is unfazed by this activity, you stand there patiently. Greenwind sees you watching all this. Oh, the Spot, you've come back. Is everything okay?
Caught it that time, but everything's fine, Master. I just had something that I had forgotten to ask you. May I be of any assistance training your students?
If you would like to spend the day showing them examples of all the things that you've learned while on your wanderlust, feel free. So for you, Spot, you're going to spend the afternoon with them. Describe for me what Spot does throughout the afternoon to show Spot's skills and how you do it.
I'm going to try doing the more legitimate things first, just kind of how to basically move with my ability to kind of move on like water surfaces or approach people without them noticing. I don't necessarily want to react violently. I don't need to show them how to injure people. I think they kind of understand that already, but just some of the applications that they can use for their open hand techniques they're learning.
Yeah. There's a nearby pond that you show that ability that you've learned. You make it across the water almost as if it is never touched. There's not even a ripple from the motion that you make. You hear the students kind of give out a low murmur of acknowledgement at the wonderment of it. You climb up the tallest tree and they watch as you slow fall. And as you slow fall, it's just this silent, kind of slow, unnatural effect. Their eyes wide with wonderment, a smile of appreciation across Greenwind's face. And this goes on for a while as you show them the more docile or protective practices of silence, scaling walls, scaling rocks and trees, falling, tumbling. But you do it all with such silence that they're just mesmerized by the patterns of how you do it.
And Spot just kind of wants to get up. I did want to stress, I don't do this to be boastful. I believe many of you have actually been walking down this path longer than I. I stumbled into this by chance about 5 years ago. If this is what I was able to glean on the road leading here, imagine what you can do under Greenleaf's tutelage.
Tabaxi of black and white stripes raises their hand. Can I try, Master? Greenwind, of course, if you feel you're ready. Kind of like stands up, and the young acolyte goes running towards the pond, gets 1 or 2 feet onto the surface, and boom, like right into the water. Just plunges like neck deep into the water, sputtering. All the other classmates kind of giggle and laugh, and even the tabaxi that plunged into the water kind of starts laughing and pulls themselves out of the pond. Greenwind seeing this kind of brevity between the students. Remember, students, it's not what you see, but it's what you know you can do. Spot here has been in their wanderlust for a long time. The world has shaped their skills. Their ability to understand these skills has then shaped themselves as well. Your natural understanding of both the world and how to protect yourself from it will eventually help shape each one of you into the followers of what we believe. For we believe in the way of the open palm, patience, diligence, the guidance of not to purposely harm if you don't need to, but to defend yourself. To defend yourself in such a way that you can seek out escape or seek out a way to avoid such violence. It's only through violent confrontation that things happen and arise that may put things out of your control. And control of the defensive nature of your talent is very important. And if you can't walk the water, then shape it. You watch as Greenwind shapes the water around him. When the water wraps around you, make it your blanket. Disappears, goes invisible, appears in a different section of the garden spot. And the lecture continues as you continue your afternoon in the gardens with both the master and the students. For the three of you, the guard is an open book. An open book to the point that you realize that they're under a magical effect. This guard is geezed. Somebody has placed a very powerful geese on this guard, but not for nefarious purposes, but as a means to protect this guard. This particular guard, as you delve deeply into their memories, because they've allowed you to do it, they have been geezed in such a way that a very powerful wizard is determined to hide in plain sight, to hide the threat of this place in plain sight. So this place and the people involved tell the entirety of Ludinus's story. You recognize the geese magic as being part of Caleb's ability. Caleb has put this guard under a geese for some reason.
I knew I was right not to trust him.
You're mute, Earthen.
You know, the silence bard. I would like to take a look at that book before we try to make a journey in.
Yeah, he spins it around towards you, and Ludinus has been in here for a long time. He's been in here for, we're now in the year 1100 post-divergence. It's been 300 years since Vecna, or 250 years since Vecna. It's been 170 years since the failed apogee ceremony that nearly destroyed the entire world, which Ludinus was convicted of doing after his secrets were discovered. His immortality lathe was taken from him. He is slowly succumbing to the true age of time. And within the last couple of years, he's had no visitors. And most of the visitors that he did have prior to that have been Caleb, a handful of other names that don't match those that you have concerns about. No real scholarly names, nothing no Mannheim name, none of the names from the interactions you've had in the Magic Mansion Mimic, learning of their supposed plot to free and reestablish the Cerebus Assembly. Just very common bureaucratic Cobalt Soul related people, or or leadership types that have come to either, the reason they put for their visit is for confirmation or questioning or continued investigation into the apogee behavior. So nothing really sticks out as odd to you, Earthen, as you read through the book.
Why would you complain about scholars that haven't been here in so many years?
Because we always turn them away. They're like sycophant fans, people that believe that the world misjudged this great wizard. I don't let them sign into the registry because I don't let them visit.
Do you mind if I look through your mind to see their faces?
Can you do that?
Well,
I
let me
can do
try
it.
this. Well, let me try this, and I'm gonna, with minor illusion, project faces of our recent enemies. Sibella first, and then
Don't know that one. Sorry.
Blackwood.
Oh, Mistress Blackwood. She is a caretaker of the tomes within the Shimmer Ward. She's a librarian. When did you interact with her?
Blackwood was the dwarf, I thought.
Oh, I thought you were talking about. That was my fault. I thought you meant
Thornbrook?
Ella. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
Thornbrook.
Lara
Oh,
Thornbrook.
yeah, no,
Yeah,
sorry.
Lara is the
Not
one I thought
Thornbrook,
you meant.
Yeah. Nope, Blackwood the dwarf. The
Don't
one
know that
we,
one.
The one that we accidentally sausaged.
Yeah, sorry. He doesn't look familiar to me.
He wouldn't look familiar anymore.
But once you get to Alara, that would
But
still
yeah,
hold true.
Alara, okay.
Yeah.
Oh. Is she there now?
She should be. She's a retired wizard who curates and takes care of the lower tomes where they keep a lot of the older books and information related to the founding period of the Cerebus Assembly and all of their academics.
No mana leaf recognition.
No, that one doesn't sound familiar.
And then shoot, where are we at? There's okay. Cravel.
Cravo. The face looks familiar, but that's not the name they went by.
What name did they use?
They used the name Mannheim.
Is that the only person that's approached under the name Mannheim ever?
I think so. Yeah.
Can I look through his brain to see a little bit about that interaction, if anything stood out in it?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of detect his thoughts when you get to that recognition of the face, but not the right name. And you search through his thoughts, and it was a memory of an occurrence of about maybe 9 months ago, 10 months ago. And they looked like the person described, but oh man, would this trigger because you're looking at his memory or his thoughts about it? No, I don't think it would trigger that. So
Can I try to trigger it?
well, I mean, it's not a matter of trying. For the first time, experiencing somebody's interaction with someone who's claimed to use that name Mannheim, it was almost as if they were invoking a spell. Almost like an arcane ward to a certain degree.
What kind of an arcane ward?
Hard to tell. Hard to tell with this limited amount of information that you're gleaming from this man's memory and his emotional response to this information.
The last face is Alden Fairmont. How did I write that name? I scribbled the last name. The first name was Alden, but it looks like Farragut.
Fairwind?
I don't think it was Fairwind. That doesn't look like a D.
Who is this?
It was one of the people, and it was the diplomat from Drusar. way back in the mansion of death.
Oh.
Like I had
All right,
Thornbrook, Bella, Tilly, Donegan, Alara, Manaleaf, Cravel, Blackwood, sorry, and then Alden Fairvot. Ah man, I can't read my handwriting on that.
Is that long ago, huh?
You know, look.
It looks like Fairwind to me from my notes.
Okay. Maybe I just write badly, but this is the difference in notes. This is since
Yeah,
then,
it was
right?
Alden Fairwind. Yeah, it was Alden Fairwind. He was the instructor, and he was in charge of teaching diplomacy and political sciences back in Drusar.
But no
And
recognition.
Technically, probably still alive, as he was part of the group that escaped and locked you guys inside. But there's no recognition of him as a person familiar to the guard.
Before I go when you said you would allow us in here, but it would be up to us to figure out how to get through this prison. What did you
It's
mean?
not really up to you. We'll guide you down there. I'm just saying that once you cross that threshold, you're under all the same effects and protectorants that keep Ludinus in his cell, of course.
You know what? I sense some kind of arcane magic in one of your memories. Do you mind if you concentrate on that moment and I just really, really get in there by casting the spell in the 3rd level?
Give me persuasion on that, because now you're really kind of calling him to task, and he's getting a little worried.
18.
I mean, technically, you mentioned the right name, and he's under Yeez, so yeah.
You don't any harm.
I know it's okay. I've had these experiences before, I think. But yes, okay, very well. Which memory would you like me to focus on?
What was the name of the guy with
This
the
guy.
arcane?
I'll minor illusion the face again. The Craval, but went by Mannheim, or introduced himself as Mannheim.
Yeah, just really think about the day you met that person, starting before you met him and leading up to the moments that you recall with him.
He kind of loses their focus for a moment, but you bring them back to focus. What 3rd level spell are you casting?
3rd level spell, Detect Thought.
Okay, so you're really digging in deep here. It's an image of an open door, similar to the one that you guys walked through. The illusionary image that Earthen presented as the individual definitely matches the memory that you had of this person. But since you're focusing on that specific interaction, it would seem that person used a series of arcane incantations that made it sound like they were using the name Mannheim. It actually seems to be more related to a Dudamancy spell effect. And you begin to realize that person attempted to influence the mind of this person. But because Caleb has this guard under a Geese effect, it didn't work. And that begins to explain another level of protection that have been placed on this place. This effect that Caleb maintains here makes this individual practically immune to most mind-controlling spell effects.
Do I get to see anything about if this person came in with anyone, if this person left in a specific direction?
There was a shadow of a person in the background, but too obscure to make out.
Does it look like Mason?
It's almost as if the guard didn't really pay attention. And so it's not really a visceral part of their memory, but there's an outline. There's a shadow of someone in the background.
Can I focus on any of his other senses, like if he heard heavy steps or a mechanic eye move or he smelled something?
They stood awkwardly, and he has a auditory memory of what sounded like a assisted leg that was reacting to like steam, like every few moments, just that purring and puffing noise of an augmented leg.
Does that remind me of anyone specific? Like one of the gnomes from Gnomework, like the spider one, maybe?
It's a
Well,
very
maybe
visceral mememory for you of
a
what Mason
certain
used to look like
vampire,
before he
yeah.
turned, before he became a vampire.
Oh. Can I sense anything else about that figure as far as like what direction they went after or anything like
No,
that?
to go any deeper or to strain any further could cause some physical harm.
Okay, no, that's enough.
Pull out.
Somebody's
He's kind of sweating a bit and goes, whew. That, now that you've exposed me to that memory, I don't remember who the person was in the background, but there was something strange about that visitor. I'll tell you that much. But I don't know. I get a lot of visitors, and I hardly ever seem to be able to remember them.
You should talk to Caleb about this. You should maybe find another job.
Oh, it seems like a pretty easy job. All I've got to do is sit here, cover the registry. I'm in charge of the 2 or 3 dozen guards here, watching over an old elf that just doesn't seem to be relevant anymore. I get paid a lot for it. So I'll think about it. I appreciate your concern, and I'll think about it.
Why
Anyway.
haven't you just killed him?
It's not my job to do that.
No, it's not your job to do that, but I mean, you know the guy's background.
Yeah. Ooh, you're dark. He's convicted, according to the Cobalt Soul and the current monarchy that's in charge. And there were...
let me flip the question. Let me flip the phrase.
Sure.
Why wasn't he just killed?
Don't know. Maybe they thought they could learn from him. Maybe they thought that his powers could make him more dangerous if he was. Maybe they didn't fully understand how his powers were working. Honestly, keeping him isolated in a magic confinement for the remainders of his natural elven life, now that he's separated from his device that used to keep him alive forever, I think that's pretty good punishment. Death is a finality. In there, he suffers. He's responsible for a lot of death.
He's still a risk.
Death is actually that final as well.
Well, I would imagine the powers that be, if they thought he was still a risk, they'd deal with him. But for now, he is in the most infamous prison, sole population of 1. We are dedicated to making sure no one ever gets in and no one ever gets out. If you would like to see him, I could arrange that through Caleb's agreement.
Yes, I still would like to see this man.
Very well. Give me a moment. He goes over and you notice that he picks up a small pearlescent stone out of a box, and in less than 25 words kind of creates a message that goes out. There's kind of a vibration and then an auditory response that whispers into the man's mind. It appears you have permission. However, I will require you to leave anything of magic or militant weapons of any kind there in that footlocker to be held and locked. You could only go in with the simple garments of your attire. Nothing of any magical nature, magical weapons, magical armor, nothing that bears any sense of magic. I also must warn you that if you are inherently magical individuals, your magic will not work while you're there. as well.
That's kind of the gist I got from Caleb's description of this place. So
Feel free to
fair
use,
enough.
Feel free to use the changing rooms and stow your weapons and equipment, if you would be so kind. It's quite cold in there. There are fur-lined cloaks that you can borrow before we go in.
I'm basically going to put all my stuff in the bag of holding.
Okay.
All the magical stuff, at least, including the garment.
The bag of holding goes in the footlocker, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Just checking. Gotta be careful.
Headband off, sword.
So this is just.
And
This is just
unfortunately, your tiger will have to remain out here.
It's okay. The tiger can guard the box.
It's an excellent idea. Is it capable of doing that through commands?
It is capable of great and terrifying things.
You're dark, little gnome. I like you. But yes, I will keep an eye on your tiger.
And also just to check, so I know this is kind of, yeah, I'm gonna let go of that soon, but pea balloons are not magical or militant, and so I don't think he detects me having them.
But Caleb's not in here.
Well, you never know.
Yeah, I would imagine you've got a couple of them like tucked away underneath your vest and stuff. They're not technically magical, no.
I on the way in, I hand a few to Earthen, if it goes that way.
What?
Oh, before you go in, I'll have to have Sam escort you.
Oh, never mind then.
Sam, be so kind. We have visitors for the old master himself. You watch as the nearby door opens, and this metal creature comes strolling out of the open doorway. Their war-forged kind of vestments and protective markings. Of course, sir. If the three of you would follow me, please. They open up the door, and they begin to lead you down a hallway. It's cold. You can feel the chill in the air. There's there's very much a sense. It's like there's just this sense of being cut off the moment you get into the hallway. And for those of you that cast magic, you feel that sense of isolation as the magic just fades from you. You can see the wards begin to come into effect, and with the Warforged leading the way in, every now and then he stops, or they stop, to disarm a trap or to disarm a protective lair. And before long, you reach a stone set of stairs that go down into a very large open space. They lead you down into that open space, and then there's this big metal plate in the middle of the open space. The Warforged reaches down, grabs on to a giant chain that allows it to kind of peel open. And then there's another set of stairs that go down 10 feet to the caged bar of a small cell. As the Warforged leads you down the stairs and into the opening of this cell, sitting in a very small 20-foot by 20-foot cell, wearing very olive and brown drab linens, there is a waste bucket in the corner. There's an empty food tray. It's this very elderly looking elf, drow, like a mixed drow heritage. The pointed ears, the scraggly hair, and there's a subtle cough upon your arrival, just like a kind of oh, mechanical thing. You've brought me visitors, have you? Or what does the cat want to play with today? The Warforged, Doesn't say anything, just looks at the three of you. You have an hour, I'll be back to collect you. No longer than an hour. The heavy metallic creature starts going up the stairs, and then a globule of floating light kind of comes down to hover nearby. And then the scraggly elven voice, "Oh, you don't like the dark, do you?" And then the metal plate closes. As you guys are left in this very small, confined section alongside the cell. The person known as Ludinus turns to look at the three of you. His eyes not adjusting well to the light, as the globule of light preventing him from being able to focus too well. He merely looks at you with a kind of sneer and contempt look on their face. Come to stare, come to wonder at the creature that I've become. What do you want?
What do you want?
Seems like a strange question. It's you first. What do you want?
Doesn't it, though? Ludinus, you and your ilk trailed me for some time. Not you personally, but your ilk trailed me for some time. And now I seem to have come across someone who perhaps has some relation to you in the past, by the name of Mason.
Mason. Sorry, doesn't sound familiar. And to be fair to you, you don't look familiar. I've chased down hundreds of people for violating the laws and rules of His Majesty's kingdom. One criminal to another, you must know.
Perhaps you might remember his disposition. Very eccentric accent, very eccentric clothes, but a strange eye and a metal leg.
Sorry, no memory of such a person.
Well, this person certainly has some interest in you.
There's a lot of people that have an interest in me. Most would like to know how I controlled the astral lathe, but until I'm freed from this place, I have no intent on giving up on that information, of course. No, let them die alongside me for all I fucking care.
Until you're free from this place, so you do have some expectation that you're going to get out.
Of course, I'm not immortal. I'll be carried out head first at some point. And then the real fun will begin.
Oh. You think you're gonna become a vampire, don't you?
Oh, vampires are for pussies.
Quirk.
There's
We don't
darker
disagree
shit
on
out
one
there.
thing.
There's darker shit out there than vampires. They're not really immortal anyways.
Oh.
They just age very slowly.
So you think you'll be brought back?
Brought back. Who says I would ever leave?
We come here representing a man named Mannheim.
No one
He
familiar
had
to
questions
me.
for you.
Someone familiar by that name to me, Mannheim. What a strange name. Sounds lazy. Certainly
Why
not
does it
elven.
sound... Why does he sound lazy to you?
It's the name of a spell.
Really? You seem to know more than you let on that.
I'm a wizard. I know about spells. You haven't really asked me about spells.
Well, about people. I mean, people say that you have grown very stupid with age. Thoughtless, even.
I mean, normally I would just use power word kill and be rid of you, but Can't use magic down here now, can we?
No, it's kind of pathetic how without magic you're just this kind of sniveling old man. Mannheim told us that.
Trying to intimidate me.
Not intimidate, just poke a little bit. After all, we've heard all those stories about you. You've destroyed lives. It's kind of disappointing, really.
Young lady, I am in a 20 by 20 anti-magic cell for the better part of almost 50, 60 years since the apogee solstice. There's very little you could possibly do to make me feel any more worse or miserable than I already feel.
Aww.
Kind of leans back against his cell wall and just smirks at
She
the
kind
three
of
of you.
boo-hoo. Oh, boo-hoo. I almost feel bad for you. Wow, it really shows you that even really, really evil people are really just poor little puppies.
Give me intimidation.
This is
On
Puck
that.
like exercising the warlock in her.
Yeah, right? Her inner warlock.
She's
is
had a
coming
bad
out.
day.
Bad couple of days.
Bad life. No, okay. This is the problem with Puck. She is not
All
very
talk.
charismatic. Yeah.
We do have your inspiration.
Okay, because that's 9, so inspiration would help me. And I have a
D6,
lucky
yeah.
point. You know what?
Yeah,
I'm
you
gonna
have a-
use my lucky point on this. Might as well.
Reroll. Yep. Go for it.
Okay, 10. I'm gonna do another one just because I really hate this guy.
They're like doing the glare thing right now at each other.
Okay, I'm gonna
Oh
go with 10,
no!
and I'm gonna add my d6 on this.
Go for it.
Okay, that's 12. Yeah. Earthen, can you step in for a second?
You watch as Ludinus just gets this creepy old man drow smile on his face. Just kind of, this is the best that you could do.
So, what were you planning on using for a phylactery?
Nothing of import. Nothing that you'd be familiar with, I don't think.
Oh, you assume so.
Phylactery, you say? You come in here with some knowledge, human.
I feed off of you. So,
Well, that's gross.
an item that
And kind
you would
of sad.
suspect we don't know. Interesting.
I mean, you're
But it would
simple
make
people.
sense why would make sense why you don't fear death.
Oh, I fear death.
Hmm.
But I feel failure even more.
Oh, but you already failed so many times.
He kind of leans up to the bar, holds on to the bars. Have I?
Yeah, that's what people say. They call you a failure, man.
Oh, we shall see. We shall see.
What did Sabella want?
Who?
Sabella.
I don't
She
know anyone
admired
by
you.
that name.
She admired you greatly.
Can I do
Lots
an
of
insight check to see if he
Yeah.
is just lying to us?
Yeah, go for it.
All right.
I have lots of admirers.
That's a nat one. So that's 12.
He's super hard to read.
Jeez.
Oh man, brutal.
Super hard.
She was very interested in your work. So much so, she also, how did she phrase it? It's a travesty what's been done to that man.
Well, she sounds very intelligent. I'd like to meet her.
Unfortunately, she is no more.
Oh, that's
Just
too
like you
bad.
will be soon.
Maybe. Anything else
What-
for me?
What would a vampire, someone seeking to be the master of all vampire, want with you?
Good question. What would they want with me? I can't offer much from here.
Can I look at what he's wearing? Like if there's any article of anything on him at all beyond
You can,
drab,
yeah,
like the drab gray clothing?
yeah, you can give me a perception check.
That's
Knowing your perception rolls, that's a 92.
29. Yeah.
92.
Oh, so that's where everybody's luck went.
That was
That's
pretty
creepy.
good. It was a 16 plus 13. So
Yeah, that's a hell of a roll. The one thing that sticks out to you is that he's clean. He's disheveled. His hair is unkempt. He looks miserable, but he's clean. No dirt, no smudge, no nothing.
how are you staying so clean down here?
Oh, well, they do give me a bucket of water from time to time. I use it to keep myself clean. If there's anything that I can say for certain, clean face makes for a good opportunity. You're clever. You drop words as if my acknowledgement of them gives you information. You have the gnomes start first, only to be replaced by your strange questions. All the while, the servant of Helm lingers in the background. The three of you have seen some things, haven't you? There's some tiredness in your eyes. Bit of sadness, too.
Oh,
I
you
wonder who's
creeper.
I wonder who's actually in the prison then.
You are in the prison, man.
Oh,
I cannot
physically,
stress this
yes.
enough.
Yeah, like I'm gonna like what's the word I'm looking for?
Hold me back, man. Hold me back. I'm going in there.
Fully graceful
non-patronizingly, like hold it.
You want to make sure
Really
that
not
you're
trying to be
holding her back like an
patronizing.
adult and not like a petulant child.
Yeah, not the whole like finger on the forehead thing.
Yeah. Earthen, I've warned you about doing that.
Bro, let me at him.
Let me at him, bro.
You keep saying, yeah, physically I'm here, but my mind is free. I hope that's not some lame thing where you just like really got into reading while you were here.
No, they don't let me read books, unfortunately.
No, that's so sad. You know, there are some really great romance novels. I think you'd enjoy the paperback ones.
Yes, Tess Glove comes to mind.
You know, we came across a very powerful artifact when we were down on the island of Gnomework.
Oh.
Actually, we came across several very powerful artifacts down there.
Gnomework has always been a location I've never really had a chance to go to.
Can I do insight check to see if he is not saying the truth on that?
Yeah, go for it. You can certainly try.
+1 for insight. This is hard. Wow, that's a 5.
Tragedy. Yeah, I mean the level of his contempt and sneer and the way he controls his inflections and his face and his auditory, he is just a master manipulator. He is impossible to read. He's impossible to provoke. This has got to be one of the most patient people or stoic-minded people you've ever encountered.
I
The
wouldn't
complete opposite of Spot.
I wouldn't presume you would have traveled to Gnomework. You tend to rather be more subtle in your actions.
You've already dropped many presumptions, haven't you?
But I am not surprised. I'm not surprised that you know of the workings of that place. There were
What
quite a
place?
few. There were quite a few Dwendalian ships in the harbor when we first arrived at Gnomork. At least ships flying the Dwendalian flag, buying all manner of siege weapons.
You should ask the Dwindles about that. I could hardly do or accomplish any of that in a space like this.
You know, you keep repeating that, but you also mentioned...
Just want to make sure it's clear. You're talking to someone that has no access to magic and is trapped inside of a cell. A cell, by the way, that was specifically built to keep me here by very powerful magics and powerful artisans that understand just how dangerous I am. Oh, excuse
Yeah, some would
me.
say more powerful than you.
Perhaps. Perhaps.
No, not perhaps. They've won. They are more powerful than you. Say
Your
it.
gnome is accomplished.
That's not a compliment. Like, I look over at Puck, that's not a compliment.
Thanks for clarifying.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
Supporting them. Just know that was not a compliment.
Yeah.
Lewdness.
Yes.
If one was to come across your phylactery, or at least what you plan to use as such, what would that be worth to you?
Oh. Now you are speaking my language. Dear boy, get me out of here. Gain the knowledge of where my phylactery is. And I will owe you a favor now, won't I?
You might owe me the favor at first for helping you obtain your phylactery to begin with.
No, it's not going to work that way, dear boy, unfortunately.
Is it? Are you bound in here forever?
Oh, for now, yes.
When they take you out head first, I might be sitting at the door, smiling and laughing.
Oh, well, you'll be quite the old man then, but if you feel like lingering that long, feel free. See, it takes quite a while for elderly elves to finally pass. I've got maybe 40, 50 years left max before I succumb to the magical resonance of no longer having access to my phylactery. But a lot can happen in another 40 or 50 years. A lot can happen in another 40 or 50 hours. It's just a matter of patiently waiting for the outcome. And when that outcome occurs, taking advantage of such occurrences. See, dear boy, the one thing I can say with absolute, resolute understanding of the world itself is it's always under threat. There's always somebody out there looking to disrupt hard-earned peace of you heroic types. The absolute affirmation that as we're all put in our place, the world becomes a much safer place. That is nonsense. This world is nothing more than a prick of light in the middle of a very shiny room. Eventually, it will merely go dark, and I will find my way, as I always have.
Like a roach.
I survived calamity. I can survive this. I survived divergence. I can survive this. I survived Vecna. I can survive this. There's nothing but opportunity for me in this world. There's more of those out there looking to do bad than to do good. And thank goodness for the likes of me.
Can I do an insight check to see if he reminds me of any of the dark gods that we've encountered?
Insight or religion, I think, might be more apt. I'll let you choose. Yeah. Insight or religion.
Religion is a bit better for me.
Okay, that's fair.
God, my rolls today are so bad. That's 15.
You said 15, though. 15's not that bad.
It's a +5. It was a 10.
There's no real sense of divinity with this person. In fact, based on the most recent reason within the last 50 years that they were put here, was because of their attempt to destroy the divine. During the apogee, there was an attempt to destroy both Rudius and Cathia in such a way that would have destroyed all divinity in his attempt to cause the celestial gates to become destroyed. In reality, his obsession with the arcane device that was used put more real people's lives in threat. What he thought was a way to destroy gods was nothing more than a corruption of the magic that kept Rudius and Cathia at bay of Exandria, nearly causing all three to collide and turning into an asteroid field and destroying the world as everyone knew it. He's the kind of person that believes that God should die and they should be held to a standard of suffering, and he views the gods as false, not real things, not real influences. This is a wizard of power that believed that the arcane meant everything to them. Everything.
Does he remind me of any of the Asimirs I've seen in the creation of the world?
The opposite. There's a lot of hateful emotion on his face, and he's clearly speaking with a great deal of arrogance. Most of the celestial Asimir creatures that you've interacted with were the opposite of that. They were stoic, unresponsive, difficult to read, very kind of divine-centric, the absolute epitome of faith.
Hmm. Does he appear more human?
No, he looks like an aged drow. He's got the white hair, got a little bit of the drow mixture, the elven prominence of features. He looks like a drow, or he looks like an elf who's been aging very rapidly over the course of the last 50, 60 years since his imprisonment.
Hmm.
Our aims are... Oh, go ahead. Sorry. No, go ahead. I talked a lot. You haven't talked much.
Yeah, I mean, I think the comment about him being weirdly clean is making me wonder whether there's some suggestions like he can do some minor cantrips or something in here that are allowing him to like keep himself clean. So I'm wondering if I can just do like an insider perception or something to try and figure out if that might be the case.
Yeah. You can give me Arcana if you want for that one, because very specific towards magic.
Mm-hmm. That's a 19, so that's a 21.
DC was a 20.
Ooh.
He's been practicing prestidigitation.
Oh shit.
There is a crack in the facade. Somehow he's practicing very simple cantrip level magic.
Are you going to share that information?
I mean, that's a problem, because if you share it, he's going to hear you share it. Yeah.
I have like a pencil and a pen and a piece of paper.
Quill and parchment. Excuse me.
Yeah, I do think I want you guys to know, because I think if he can do magic in here, we should stop telling him stuff. So probably I would, if I have paper, maybe I would write that down, or if yeah.
I mean, you could you pull. Well, you don't have any of your equipment.
Yeah, all our equipment's
You guys just
all
wearing
up
your
there.
standard kind of like daywalker clothes, like like your simple vestments that you'd wear under your armor. You know,
Yeah.
your like your tunics, your linens, your pants. Just, I mean, you're basically down here without anything that could be perceived as a threat, and yeah. So it's like it's like, oh fuck.
And I do
How
not
do I
know.
express this?
Uh-oh.
Well, brute force it, but
Sorry, guys, my headphone just died.
No worries.
Oh,
Do any of you guys speak a non-common
Nope.
language, shared language?
a non-elfish language?
Yeah, exactly.
Nope.
Oh, does anyone speak?
I don't.
Well, he probably speaks a bunch of languages anyway.
You could, yeah.
But what would be what? I mean,
I just meant like a language.
if you had to talk to me in a code, how would you do it?
I think I would. Honestly, if we didn't have a language in common, I think I would just be like, I think we should go.
What's got you so
So-
riled up?
Well, I mean, do you say that out loud, Xana?
Yeah, I would say I think we should go. I think we've spoken to him enough.
Hey, yeah.
Yeah, he looks like he's enjoying it too much. Must be really lonely. Aw.
Hey, Earthen.
Yep.
Not to interject Spot in here too much, but if there's a crack in here that's letting him do very low level magic, could you guys possibly do sending to each other?
He might interest
Would-
us.
I would say, would he detect it though? If he's doing some magic, but
Just check one thing. I got a curiosity.
Ludinus, you disappoint me.
Well, sending's a spell. You mean message?
Sorry, yes. My basically non-magical cat, like I not memorized most of that stuff, so
It's verbal, semantic, and material to do it. So you may not have the necessary components for it, since all magic-related things would have been left with your equipment.
You know what? Could I try and just put a hand like on Earthen's back and cast guidance?
That's a cantrip, right?
Yeah.
Does it require anything other than...
It does have a verbal somatic component, so I don't want to do that.
Yeah, that would be an auditory and then a physical.
Yeah, I want something
No
that doesn't have
material.
verbal, and
I mean,
I don't have that.
There's always that possibility if you could identify a cantrip that's somatic only, I would allow a sleight of hand as a way to prove that subtle magic seems to be working. Cantrip level magic is working.
Everything I have is verbal.
Yeah, that's hard. You could try deception and sleight of hand at the same time.
You know,
Not my strong suit.
Yeah, I know. The only person kind of good at deception and sleight of hand's not there.
Yeah.
But he's
I'm
also not
great at
very.
deception.
they're
Yeah,
not-
Earthen can do it if
and
you knew, but
Spot's not very subtle either. So I think if Spot were to figure it out, knowing Spot, he'd just blurt it out and go, "Oh, you can't cast magic," you know.
no.
I am-
Spot had a different idea because at least they understand that. Like again, they're not.
La
there,
la
but-
la la, you're not there. La 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 la.
I am
Split idea.
disappointed in you, Ludinus.
So we can do, well, we don't know that we can do cantrips.
Only Xanath is aware that he's probably doing prestidigitation. It's a very low level cantrip. That's how he's keeping clean.
So here's a fun question that I think I have been very clear with from the beginning of this day.
Okay. Yeah.
So do we want to throw a pea balloon on this guy? And Earthen, I think you should have the honor. And, you know, he can't clean himself. So if he's clean after, like, at the very least, I think it will rattle him. And I would like to see him rattled and angry.
are you saying this out loud?
I think I'm giving a meaningful look, and I think
I could see Puck like fondling the folds of her clothes. Puck's like fondling the
she's
folds
got
of her
her
clothes.
got a little tunic vest open, and she's like pointing sheepishly at the small balloon of pee underneath the vest.
It's not small.
You ever see
It
Emperor's
has to
New
be
Groove?
small.
that,
You're
like,
small. Otherwise, it looks like you have like dozens of bulges on you.
I've been drinking all day, and so has Punch.
All morning. I've had green tea all morning.
I will look at Puck and be like, I think you have a better shot at this.
Okay. Well,
This really is not appropriate. No.
Oh my
straight
god.
to that little pointy thing on his fucking forehead.
So you reach he's a Dunamancer wizard. So as you reach in, pull out one of the balloons with the intent of tossing it. You disconnect it from the small bit of twine and string, and you and Earthen and Xanath are exchanging an entirely heartfelt conversation through visual responses, like eyes going wide, like, no, like all the physical conversations that happen when an awkward moment arrives. Give me a D20. Roll a D20, Puck, and add your Dex modifier to it.
Okay. Oof, wow, I roll like shit today. So that's gonna be a 15, but I have a +9.
24, right?
What?
How did we get to 20?
Oh, you said you rolled a 15.
Oh,
No. I rolled a 4. Let's be clear.
Okay.
So 4 plus 9 is a 13.
Does anybody want to assist me in some way? Do you want to sing a song to inspire me to do better in this moment and be better than I am?
You watch as the pea balloon gets flinged and it hits the bars. And when it hits the bars, it kind of bursts up and along and down the bars, but it also bursts up against a blue field of energy. And you watch as shield wards up in the corners of the barred cell flare into existence, and you're watching them slowly kind of reform. Ludinus leans forward. Really? You don't think they would have thought of somebody trying to pass me something, or trying to throw something at me, or tried to kill me? Do you realize how many protections are in this place? While I do find your method of revenge quite interesting, am I detecting a morning's collection on the floor now?
Well, I've been eating asparagus for the past week.
Yes.
So I hope you enjoy this thoroughly.
It's an interesting odor. But, I mean, come on. You could do better than that, can't you?
You know what? I don't think I can. I think you're gonna you're gonna wake up tomorrow smelling this, and you're gonna regret every moment that led you to this. Little gnome's pee scent, and I also can I take out because I also have my tiger pee, and I think
Ooh, that's gonna be far more pungent.
I think
Yeah, in fact, it's got a bit of like viscosity to it, like waxy, kind of, you know. And it's like he sees that, and one eyebrow is burnt up when he sees the next one come out, and then he looks. She goes, "How many bags of pee are you carrying?
More than you could imagine."
You walk around with bags of pee. You watch as it hits the bars and bursts against the shield effect, and it just slowly waxes down the bars. He's like, oh, okay, that one's pungent. I'm gonna give you that one. Where does a gnome come across bags of tiger? Who are you people? Why are you here to torment me? I've got nothing to give you, nothing to offer you. There is no great secrecy. I got caught. I'm in prison. What do you want? And stop
We
throwing
want-
pee at myself. Gross.
How did you make it through Calamity?
Well, I mean, my magics, my understanding of what was going on, the collapse of Arcanum. I'm a very survivable person.
A very survivable person.
Of course. You might say I'm one of a kind.
Oh, you are that.
Oh, I'm glad you agree with me. Makes me feel warm and fuzzy. The best part is I still don't know who you are. You haven't shared your name with me. You seem to know a lot about me. You also seem to think that I have a vested interest in your past. Or as if you are someone of importance. I see a minor band member of an unimportant band. What else could I have to offer you?
You know, I feel like we have really provided enough information at this point, and we've collected enough information as well. It may be time for us to go.
Yeah, you watch as Xanth leans up to the metal plate up on above the stairs. It's kind of like, like
Anytime now?
Yeah, like it's
Like,
at that point you hear the creaking of the metal plate. Like you can
That's
see the
sad.
Warforged looking down, and the Warforged goes, "What is that foul smell?"
He
What
soiled
happened
himself. He's getting old.
Oh, that's cruel. You watch as kind of Xanth quickly makes her way out first as a very rushed indicator to the rest of you.
What? How did? Okay, and I'll follow out. The smell is bothering me. My eyes are watering now.
Well, thank you for revealing so much to us. We have learned a lot today. I tried to make this look like an absolute victory to us.
Okay, it's more like, okay, glad I could be of such service. You've left me such a wonderful treat behind. I want to thank you for that. Kind of like leans back and away as far from his cell door as he can. Kind of back to leaning and just kind of scratching at the stone as you make your way up the stairs.
Oh, scratching at this. Can I spend a second looking at him scratching the stone when it seems like I'm a little further?
Yeah, give me a perception check as you're at the top of the stairs. You look down just as a globule of light is following you up to kind of plunge him back into severe darkness.
Is there something other than perception that I can use, like survival or nature or stealth?
How's your investigation?
Better.
Okay, you can make an investigation check.
Thank you. Wow, this is not fair. This is the second floor in a row.
Right.
His curse is real. This is.
The globule
That's-
light.
It's our
Yeah,
lore
what-
night.
what's your
Chris.
total
when we're
roll?
when we're going through lore nights, we always roll shit.
Absolutely.
Every time we're trying to find out the stuff, we always roll badly.
This is a 9, but it's not too late for Urson to inspire me with his bravery.
If magic's not allowed, I don't know how I'm gonna inspire you.
Summons, song is magic.
I mean, but if you said like if you noticed him doing that, I could try and look back real quick.
Oh, okay. I kind of signal to Earthen to try as well.
Like, huh? What's he?
Yeah, like Puck, you purposely stumble. Earthen sees you stumble since Xanath was the first one out. So Earthen, you quickly come. Yeah, like Xanath's like, I'm fuck out of here. This guy's bad news. And so you come over to see if Puck needs help. And Puck's halfway up the stairs, and you grab her hand to kind of help her to her feet. And she whispers, "Look at what he's doing," and you look over through the globule of light that's following Puck up to eventually leave everything down here in darkness. And he's like scratching at the stone.
Yep. For perception.
Yep.
That's okay. Hang on. Let me get my modifier. That's a 31.
That's pretty good. I put the DC at a 22, so that's pretty good.
I rolled.
He
with
rolled
18.
a pretty high sleight of hand while he turned away. It was chicken scratch, like a countdown. There were a series of markings on the stone, and that's when you realized that the surface of all the stones down there were like lines of 4 with a 5th one crossed, lines of 4 with a 5th one crossed, lines of 4 with a 5th one crossed. And as the metal plate settles and the globule of light comes out, the entire back wall of the cell was just filled with this scrawling, this very subtle, nearly impossible to detect countdown that he seems to be scrawling into the back wall of the cell.
Can you see how many more are left?
Something. He's counting something off. I don't know what that was.
He was
What
a hard.
What did he study again?
Dunamancy.
Yeah.
School of Dunamancy. A very specific kind of school of magic that focused in on graviturgy magic, temporal magic, magics that affect physical things, alters them physically, as well as allowing for time skip or time stop. Very much magics that focused on the manipulation of the mind as well.
If he's counting something down, knowing that school of magic, there may be something he's seen already in the future, or has some knowledge of in the future, perhaps.
Were you able to see if he's counting down? Is it because he is marking off days that have already happened, or he's marking the days that are coming?
Ooh, that is a very inspiring question.
Yeah, and I'm gonna have to look at the DM to get the answer.
No.
It could be either or, really. I mean,
right? Like,
brings
it's not
up
like he was marking off
very,
something that was already there, but he was just writing. He's making more counts.
Yeah, like he's either counting up or counting down. It's actually hard to know for sure what he's doing. Seems like a strange way to pass the time. Probably the only thing that really stuck out with that perception of what he was doing, the markings were exact. Like, no, they could have all been done today or over the length of time. There's no deviation in the markings. Each one looking exactly like the previous scrawl in the stone. A perfect, well kind of curated 4 lines and then across 5th line. 4 lines and then across 5th line. Like a very, very carefully choreographed countdown where it all looks identical the way he's scrawled it into the wall.
What line was he on when we would I've been able to see if he was
that would have
crossing,
required you lingering long enough to do some math, like to count and
no. I mean, like what he was scrawling, was he doing?
He was doing the 5th cross, like he was crossing off the number 5.
Could it be some kind of spell?
None that I know.
You'll follow me, please.
I look over at Xanth, like, what got you so worked up in there? Besides the fact that it means a creepy shit, but yeah.
You noticed he was so clean. He's doing cantrips in there. That's prestidigitation.
No, he can't do cantrips. He can't do cantrips in there.
A guy like that who's been alive for 1,000 years.
No, that's the spells on the place. We can't do I'm gonna try and cast minor illusion.
Nothing happens.
And like, see, like
the Warforged while I can agree with most people that visit this person, they can be difficult to see, and their behavior is quite annoying. But I can assure you, he does not have the ability to cast magic down there. Now, if you would follow me, I will lead you back up to the entrance, and you can reacquire your gear.
I'm gonna keep trying to cast other cantrips I know.
Yeah,
just like
Zeth is watching you go through the motions of all the different mage hand, prestidigitation,
just
this, and nothing's really working. Zenith, you and Puck are following the Warforged like back up the long stairs to the long hallway. As you guys get back up in the long hallway, Earthen, right at that 100-foot distance, right about 100 feet from the cell.
Yep.
You take care, Earthen. Give my regards to the family. And that's where we're going to finish tonight.
Oh no!
Oh man, I was okay with Spot going off to talk to the master, but I was like, oh my god, it would have been so funny with him there. Because like nothing gets under Spot's skin. He gets under everybody's skin. And I was like, oh my god, him talking to Ludinus would have been so much fun. So much fun. It's crazy.
It is truly chaotic good versus lawful evil.
Yeah. Well, someone in chat was like, no, Puck is definitely chaotic neutral.
Fair. Yes. Agreed.
Oh my god. Are we good for next week? Are we good?
Yep.
Cool. Linger around. We'll chat briefly before we say goodbye to each other tonight. But everyone else out there, be safe, be kind, and don't forget, play a game. Thanks for coming out. Good night, everybody. See, I almost did it this time. Oh, I kind of feel like that's my sign off, is to forget what I was doing.
I always try to
remember
freeze
at
and
the
do
last
the thing
minute,
that you're
like,
going to
good.
wave off on and just be like, hey, I'll just